I am Dr. Heather Moore, owner of Total Performance Physical Therapy. Tonight we have Adrian with us, who's going to be demonstrating some exercises because we're going to go through the top 3 hamstring strengthening exercises. So a lot of times what we see in sports performance and just general weakness, the quads are very well defined, the hamstrings are non-existent. So, and a lot of times when people are doing hamstring curls or hamstring exercises, they find ways to cheat. So we're going to go through 3 hamstring exercises, and I'm going to actually take you through a couple progressions and show you kind of what not to do and what to do in order to perform them correctly, in order to ramp up the sequence. It is extremely important that your quads and your hamstrings be equally strong. If your quads are pulling harder than your hamstrings, that's going to lead to a lot of knee pain, back pain, hip pain. So the hamstrings are something that we love to ignore because it really hurts to strengthen them sometimes, and we get cramps and they get tears. That's even more of an indication that you need to be doing something about it. So we're going to start tonight. We're going to start with our first exercise, and it's going to be kind of a progression. We're going to use a ball. You don't have to use a ball. Oops. And it's going to be a bridge, and it's going to go into a hamstring curl. Okay, so if you're just starting off exercising your hamstring, probably don't want to do the curl right away. All right, so for the bridge, you're just going to push your butt off the table, nice and easy, as high as you can. The goal is to get it as high as you can. You're going to lower it down nice and slow, okay? If you really want to make a challenge, don't actually rest all the way down. Just keep going nice and easy through the motion. To make it even harder, you can lift one leg up. Now, as you do that, you want to make sure that your hips stay level. So as you're on the ball, you don't drop to one side as you take a leg off. That's really important. A lot of people wind up dropping a hip and still doing the exercise, or they don't wind up pushing up as high. It's extremely important to perform the exercise this way. Now, if your feet are flat on the floor, you want to make sure that the 4 points, like if you imagine there were 4 points on the bottom of your foot, little toe, big toe, inside of your heel, outside of your heel, those are the 4 points. You want to be pushing through those equally to push your butt off the ground, okay? A lot of people will come up on their toes to push themselves up. There's a lot of ways to get around using the hamstring. So you really want to make sure that you are appropriately firing the hamstring. Another way you can make this a little more challenging is to put a ball, put a pillow in between your knees and squeeze. That's going to allow you to further fire that hamstring, fire that posterior chain that so many of us need. To progress this, you're going to go right into a bridge, and then you're going to actually roll the ball out and in, okay? Now, you want to make sure that as you do that, you aren't dropping your hips down as you roll the ball in. The hips stay level, and you're rolling it in nice and easy. Now, this is the easier way where you're dropping down after each repetition. If you want to make it harder, you stay up and you roll back and forth, okay? And then to make it even harder, of course, you can lift one leg off the ball and roll back in and in. This is very, very challenging what Adrian's doing right now. It is not easy. A lot of people will shortchange the roll just to get it done, okay? You want to make sure that you are extending your leg almost all the way straight and then bringing it all the way to your butt. If you can't do that, or you have to shorten the range of motion where the ball's just moving back and forth a little bit, you're not ready for that single leg step up yet. How many do you do? You want to try and do about 30, okay? 30 is the good magic number. You're not going to fatigue too much. You may cramp your hamstring. Rub it out and then keep going, okay? The next exercise we're going to do is we're going to have Adrian hop up, and we're going to do a full squat. All right, here's my pet peeve. Here's my soapbox for the night. Everyone should do a full squat. I know Jane Fonda back in the 90s or whenever all that craze was that full squats were bad for you and you need a ball against the wall. The only way to activate your hamstrings and your glute medius is to go below 90 degrees. There is nothing wrong if you do a squat in proper form that you can't go below 90 degrees. It actually puts more pressure on your knees if you wind up just going to 90 and stop. And all you're doing is a quad exercise at that point in time. Most people have dominant quads, all right? Most people have very strong quads. They're missing that reciprocal muscle, the hamstring. So it's really important that you go all the way to the ground with these squats, all right? Most people are not going to be able to handle a bar on their back either, okay? So you really need to start with 30 body weight squats. Perfect form, going up and down, before you load anything onto your back. This is probably one of the biggest things that happens with student athletes or athletes in high school and college is they're so anxious to get that bar on their back, yet they can't do 30 body weight squats to the floor. So go ahead, Adrian's going to drop down all the way. Now, she's able to have her toes pointing straight forward. And that's okay. Some people can't do that because their knees are going to bother them. So she just modified it because she's smart and she's worked here a long time. So she turned her toes out, which is one way that you can do this. It's not even a modification. It's okay. It doesn't make it easier. It just might make it a little more comfortable with the knees. The only thing you have to watch with this is as you go down, your knees do not go in. They still go out over your toes. So if you turn your toes out, your knees have to go out. They don't go in and your feet go out. Couple of things that go wrong with the full body squat. As you go all the way down to the ground, you wind up bringing your knees together to stand up. That's an indication of weakness. You need to start with doing just squats to a bench, okay? You need to start with doing single leg squats to a bench. Then you need to work your way up to going all the way to the floor. Another popular way to get around this and to cheat is as you go down and when you come back up, you'll rotate. And it's a very quick rotation, but one of your hips will drop and you'll quickly rotate in order to get yourself up. That's a fail. That's a problem. That's not using your hamstrings effectively. So you really want to make sure that you are, in fact, dropping down and going all the way back up, all the way to the floor. The other thing you don't want to do is as you drop down, you don't want to hunch over, okay? You're not getting to the floor in a hunched over position. Your back is straight, okay? Picture you had a bar on your back, but don't actually put a bar on your back. But picture you had a bar on your back and go all the way down to the floor. That is how you perform a body weight squat properly. The last exercise I'm going to show you how to do is we're going to do a single leg deadlift. Now these are really popular in the gym, and people like to load these pretty quickly with weight, and I see maybe 15% of the population doing them correctly. So we're going to show this in two angles. I'm going to show you with Adrian facing you, and then I'm going to show you with Adrian turned to the side. So she's going to start off by facing you, and all you're going to do is like that little bird that used to peck water. I know I'm aging myself there, but you can remember there was a little ball in the end and a little bird pecked water. Every time I see this done in the gym, I see people's back go, and then I see their leg go, okay? It is one unit, your leg and back, and actually your leg should go first, and your back should only follow after your leg moves. So Adrian's going to bring her leg up in the back. She's going to keep it straight, and then she's going to come back up. Now, when you feel, and you should watch yourself in the mirror, you should have somebody watch you. When you feel yourself break, meaning this happens, it's done. All right, so I'm going to have her turn to the side and show you from the side. So she's just going to bring that leg straight back. The leg is going to drive the movement, and then she's coming back up. Okay? At no time is there ever a bend. All right? It is straight down and it is straight up. Okay? Now the other big mistake that people make when doing this exercise is they rotate their hips. So you'll see them go down and then rotate their back, rotate their hips. Your hips have to, if you put a ruler on your hip bones in the front, there should be a straight line to the floor. Okay? At all times. If this starts to rotate up, you're doing it incorrectly. You're not firing your hamstrings. You're using other muscles to lift that leg. It's really important that those two things happen. You stay in a straight line the entire time, and you do not rotate your hips. To make this challenging, do not touch down in between each rep. Bring it right to the level, but keep that leg in the air. Once you can do 30 on each leg, nice and slow and controlled, and not like bobbing up and down, you can progress to adding a weight in front. But that's not important. The most important thing is that you are doing these single leg, you are doing them without weight, and you are doing them correctly. You will feel a lot of burn, so to speak, if you wish, in your hamstring if you do these correctly, okay? So I hope those helped for those of you who are struggling with hamstring exercises to do. For those of you who aren't doing any hamstring exercises at all, you need to start today. I am going to post a link to our free 2-week training trial where you can go and meet our trainers, and they will show you some more fun hamstring exercises, but those are 3 that you can do at home right now to get started.